might be our next project here. 83 bitchin' Camaro. It's got the dual fuel injected Crossfire. It hadn't been ran in a minute. It's the neighbors. We're just looking to get rid of it. We just opened the hatch. It's super heavy. The struts are gone. Pretty clean inside. Oh, it might be locked. I don't know who does that, but there it is. Alright, sorry about that. Yep. It's all original stuff in here. Got an aftermarket radio. Z28. The headliner's gone, but that's normal. It's pretty clean. So what we're going to do is some air in the tires. All the tires have either low or empty. Hopefully they'll hold air. The beads aren't broken. We'll get it towed over to the house, the shop, and start doing some normal stuff. Drain the fuel out of the tank, vacuum off all the rat's nests and stuff, clean it up, and then we'll check the oil, make sure it rotates by hand, and if that's good, then we'll probably pull a spark plugs and just see if they're decent. We'll take that cover off so we can make sure that none of that rat's nest got inside, and throw a battery in it, check for sparkies, and then carry on. Hopefully the radiator holds water. I don't know if it has any freeze in it or not. We can check what it's got. Oh yeah, she's good. So that's always a good thing. And it doesn't look like it's been messed with too much, so should be a pretty straightforward deal getting her back up and driving. The brakes might be done, but we'll see. There's some more than usual rust on that, so it might be leaking, and we'll have to check for wiring problems. Looks like somebody added an aftermarket alarm, so we'll figure that out. Other than that, the goal is just get her running and driving so they can sell it, rather than have it towed away. Well, we had to take the tires off because they were flat and it just wasn't turning, and they weren't holding any air after we got them out here. So we're gonna take them home, put some new rubber on them, or get some wheels that are on some rims that'll fit. All right, we got it home. Had to put two different tires on the front. This one tire is the only one that's holding air that came on it. This one held air long enough to get it here. Well, you can see it was starting to get low as it got here, so I'm probably going to put the other two that match this side on the wheels, you know, to put it up for sale. But yeah, all right, it's here. We'll get to draining the gas tank and cleaning the engine bay up probably tomorrow. Alrighty guys, I got it all cleaned up. Then I took the covers off and realized there's some more cleaning here to do. I did manually move the pulley, so she's free inside. Oil's full and pretty clean, but I know it's old. I tried to suck some fuel out of this with a very long hose, and I could barely get any fuel, so I think it was almost empty, which is never a good sign. I added 5 gallons into it, and then cycled the, also put the battery in. Cycled the key, and I could have swore I heard the fuel pump buzz, but it didn't do it a second time. I'm worried that the fuel pump might be bad, but we'll do a little bit more investigating. I'll cycle the key a few more times. I'm going to clean this up a little more, cycle the key a few more times, and crack open one of those lines, see if there's any pressure there. And hopefully there is. All right, now we checked voltage at the injector while we were turning it over, and we've got it pulsing. Loosened up the fuel line and didn't get any pressure. Took this guy off, turned it over, nothing. So we're gonna go ahead and say that the fuel pump is dead, and it is in the fuel tank. And the beauty of these things there, I think, you got to pull the whole rear end, that rear axle out, because it's above that, and a lot more, like the rear exhaust and the whole 9 yards. So quite a big project, a little more than I wanted to bite off. So we'll talk to the owner, see what they want to do. I'm sure they want to fix it, but we'll see. That's where we're at for there. Well, I gotta say it sucks. I recorded a bunch of videos on this Camaro of swapping out the fuel pump, which did end up being in the tank. And you don't have to pull the whole rear end, but you do have to take the factory stock exhaust off right before the axle. I'm sorry, right after the axle, I think is where it connected. And then you have to disconnect the shocks and let the axle swing down as low as it'll go, and then you can get the tank out pretty easily. But without a lift, it's rather difficult, because you really need to get that axle swinging low, and then you got to work the tank pretty good to get it out after the straps are loose and completely removed. So we did that, and then the brakes, when we started running it and moving it back and forth to see how it was working, the front brake calipers were locked up, so we had to replace both of the front brake calipers and both of the rubber lines that went from the chassis to the caliper. And then we had a little bit of trouble making it run and idle smoothly. And it's that fuel injected Crossfire. It's like a 2 or 3 year thing, and this was the first year. So it was a little bit of a struggle, but it turns out, other than it just needed to be ran a little bit and stuff warmed up and kind of get it moving again, my brother actually helped me, or enlightened me. It was driving me crazy, and he's like, well, the alternator's not charging, and the battery was kind of bad. It was going low, so with the alternator not charging, it really wasn't getting enough voltage for the computer, so it was freaking out. It was glitching. And so did a new battery and a new alternator, and then all of a sudden it just starts running a lot better. Not perfect, but had to do a few more adjustments. But yeah, I got it running and driving really nicely for that old of a car that really hasn't had much maintenance to it. I did all 4 tires that I had. I had some spare tires in the back I just threw on there. They weren't the greatest. So we put the tires on, we put the calipers on, did the fuel pump in the fuel tank, and yeah, that was pretty much it. Cleaned it up, threw it up for sale, and that's what you're looking at now, the video of this for sale in the front. And this is just a project for the neighbor. They wanted to get it out of their yard. And then the next one that you're fixing to look at is a Crosstrek Subaru. My buddy was driving down the road, and one of his ball joints just gave out on him. So he brought it over to the house. We ordered up some parts. He brought it back the next week. Just took it and parked it. Brought it back the next week when all the parts came in, and you'll see where we just swapped out all the parts. I thought you might want to see that. Basically, these are a couple projects that I worked on when I should have been working on the Mustang before going cruising the coast, and that's why we were a little bit behind. But when people need your help, you got to help them. Your stuff sometimes takes a second nature. So, got the neighbor's Camaro fixed, got the Crosstrek fixed, and we still made it to cruising the coast. So I thought you want to see some of the stuff I was doing, and you might have seen in the background swapping out and why I was moving cars in and out and stuff. So thought I'd let you know, and hope you enjoy. .2013 Crosstrek. This is the problem right here. Goes down the road and it wobbles and gobbles and does all kinds of craziness. Can't really see it right now, but it's from New York. It's all rusted everywhere. We tried to get stuff off. I had to actually drill this cotter key out and still couldn't get the things off. So we've got new tie rod ends, new lower control arms, new spindles, and new bearings. Hopefully all we have to do is just take it all apart and put it all back together. Bearing, lower control arm, spindles, jacket, tie rod ends. We're taking one side apart right now.
Just make sure everything fits. Alright, got everything taken apart. All that's the garbage. One tie rod, sway bar and link got damaged, so we had to replace that. We're not going to have the disc brake shields anymore. They're kind of piled up on the floor. This side didn't even have one on anymore. Over here.
I ripped it off.
Yeah, well. Time to put some new clean stuff on. Here we go. Alright. So these bolts were rusted in. We couldn't get them out. Broke this one off inside. And this one just snapped the head off. So we had to go to the store and grab some. Not quite the same. They got the shank on them. And they're a little bit, the shank's a little bit long. So we had to get some washers. It is what it is. So we are going to get that put on. I think he's putting the one on right here. That's what it's gonna look like there. To clamp that guy on. And then I'll start putting the other side together while this side gets all the nuts and bolts tightened down. Well, bolted it all together, tightened it all down. Had a little bit of trouble with the spacers on the wheel sensors from the Chinese hubs. So we had to space them out a little bit, but I think we got it all. The wheels look relatively close. We measured them and compared them. So it's a little bit to the left and it's a little bit to the left. And they're going to be towed, I mean, they're going to be cambered out a little bit, looks like. But yeah, well, he's going to take it home and then get in alignment tomorrow. And that will be that for the 2013 Crosstrek. Well, that's that. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.